Welcome to another edition of Talkin' Business with Joey Trombley, and on the camera is Calvin Castine. And today our travels have taken us to Clinton Street in Rouse's Point, New York. We're at the Border Press, and I'm with Danny Rochester, one of the proprietors of the Border Press. And Dan, the whole purpose of this segment that we're doing is to highlight small businesses to the area.
Yeah.
So people may not even know you're here. And we want to encourage people to support the local business because we understand that the money stays in the local area.
Right.
And if local people can support local people, it's a good thing.
It is a good thing.
So, Dan, you guys have been here for a long time. So can you give us an idea?
We've been here since 1960. My dad started the business, and so that's a long time.
1960?
Yeah.
And then you came into the business at when?
Well, I actually started working here when I was a kid. So, the late 70s. I was working, doing odd jobs, and then I got into it full time when I got out of school.
And when did you come in full time?
Probably 82.
Okay, so you've been here for almost 20 years?
Been a long time.
30,
yeah.
Almost 30 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you've been here that long.
Been here that long. Yeah.
So this business has definitely grown from the time you started to the point that we're at right now.
Yes. Yeah. It's changed a lot as well.
Okay.
I mean, we have a lot of old technology, but we have a lot of new technology, and it works hand in hand. You have to have both.
So you still use a lot of the old technology?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
Numbering, perforating, that stuff will never change. It's still done the same way. We have an old Heidelberg letterpress, and we have modern, machinery as well. We have digital presses and stuff.
I was going to say, because you got a digital press, a few years back?
Actually, we just got a new one about a year ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And digital seems to be where it's going nowadays.
It is for a lot of things. We do a lot of book work. We have a perfect binder, which is puts a flat back on it. We can do like a 300-page book with that. But digital is primarily used for smaller quantities. So let's say somebody wants 100 books. We can do 100 books. Where 20 years ago you couldn't do that. So in some ways people get a better product today than they did years ago. Prices have actually come down in printing. We do a good copy business. Our copies are very reasonable. We do all the work. Some of the larger places you actually have to make the copies yourself.
Right.
You give us the originals, and we do the work for you, and so that's actually a pretty good business for us as well.
Now, I know you guys do wedding invitations.
We do wedding invitations.
Is that a big part of your business?
It's a part. It's not a huge part. We do a lot of invitations. We do like invitations for the school graduation stuff. It's custom work, so like we can put the student's photograph right on the invitation.
Right.
What we do is custom manufacturing, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
And obviously you can compete with the big boys.
Yeah, we just sent the job to New York City. Now
how did they hear about you?
Through word of mouth. Yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, so it was an organization that raises money. It's a charitable thing, and I think it was a 36-page full color. Small quantity, I think it was like 600,
okay.
And that was shipped to Broadway. So that's
nice.
the good thing about a business like this. We can actually do work out of the area, where some businesses can't. You know what I'm saying? A service business, yeah. You're kind of trapped in this area. But with the internet and everything, you can sell to somebody, in Europe.
Well, I noticed that you have a website.
We do, yep.
And do you promote that a lot? So can people make orders off of the website, or is it just that it's there?
No, it's an informational website. You're looking at more of a storefront. We're thinking about doing that, but right now we've got a new informational website.
Okay.
And from that, you can actually see a lot of our products, and it gives you an overview of what we do. And of course, all our phone numbers are on there.
I think it'd be great if you could offer products on there, or
yeah.
I think the internet is the way to go. It's the way to go.
It is. We offer some specific products, like we do railroad cards now, and that's not a custom product. So those kind of products you can sell like that because it's not custom design. Custom design stuff is very difficult to sell with a storefront. If you think about it, it's like an iPad. If you buy an iPad is an iPad.
Right.
So you can click, yes, I'm going to order one. It works. But when you're custom designing something, we have to do a lot of one-on-one with people
to get the product out. So your informational website, they can see what you can do there at least.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if people wanted to go on the website, because everybody seems to be on the internet nowadays, what is your website?
It is www.borderpress.net.
.net,
yeah.
not .com.
That's correct.
Okay, folks, it's .net, not .com. Okay. Now, since you've been here, have you put additions onto this building?
Over the years, we've put a couple additions on. It's still relatively small, but it serves its purpose. We're more efficient than we used to be, so we work with less people, and I think business in general has become more efficient over the years. by necessity because of the economy has been bad. I think people work harder with less.
Yeah, well, they have to.
Yeah, they have to.
I mean, you have to adjust with the times.
That's right.
Now, obviously, you're kind of out of the way here on Clinton Street.
Yes.
Do you get many walk-ins?
We get quite a few, actually. I would say like between 3 o'clock and 5 o'clock, we'll have a lot of people come in here.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if people want to call you to order something, what's the phone number here at the Border Press?
518-297-6214.
And then the address here.
37 Clinton Street in Rouse's Point, New York.
37 Clinton Street. Okay. Is there anything else that you want to share with us on this short segment of the Border of Talking Business?
Well, let's see. I think you've touched pretty much everything. I mean, we've been here for a long time. We do a lot of things. We do a lot of things that people probably don't realize, like the books. A lot of people probably didn't know we did that. So we're getting into new products all the time. And, if you have something that you need, you can give us a shout. And, chances are if we can do it. If we can't, we'll tell you,
Right.
We try to do everything in-house. Some things we may have to job out. But 99% of the stuff we do actually in-house.
But I think it's fair for any local business in any small community. It's just an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. That's all you can ask for.
To ask for the opportunity.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you can help them, great. If not, then you can't.
Absolutely.
But it's to get to the folks out there that it's the small businesses here that support the local communities. We support the schools. We support the different community projects that go out there. And the only way that we can do that is if people support us.
That's true.
You're right. We understand there's bigger box stores out there and stuff, but it's worth a shot.
It's cheaper. I'll give you an example. Like the big box store you're thinking about in Plattsburgh, they get 39 cents for a copy. We actually sell them for 20 cents for a color copy, and the machine that the copy's printed on is twice as expensive. Our machine is a $60,000 copier. They do theirs on a $30,000 copy. And charge double.
Right. Now, most people would not know that.
They would not know that. But they realize that. We do a lot for, we've got some Canadian firms that came here, and they're getting a lot of color stuff. They print it on glossy paper, and our prices are very, very good.
Well, and hopefully other businesses that are watching this show will say, hey, the Border Press is right in our backyard.
That's right. Yep.
Let's give them the business.
Yeah, that's why it is good to check around, because you never know.
And I've heard this from other businesses. People will go around and check all over, and they come back and go, I never knew you offered that.
That's true. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it does pay to check.
Yeah. I mean,
I always do. I always try to keep business local.
Oh, yeah. I'm a stickler for keeping the business local. Right. I mean, it's local. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
The best you can.
Yep, that's right.
But it's I'd say 95% of the time.
Yep. Well, we're all in it together, so
sure. And you supply jobs. And
yep. It's a trickle-down effect. You'll buy something from somebody else, and so on. So you're right. It definitely pays to shop local for everybody.
Exactly. Well, this is Danny Rochester, and again, the purpose of this, and the reason I'm doing this for Calvin, is we want to preserve these North Country treasures, because Border Press has been here since 1960. This is definitely a North Country treasure here in the Northern Tier, and we want to let people know about it. And I want to take the time, too, with Danny by me, to appeal to the folks that are watching this show right now. It is viewer-supported. It is business supported, and that's how Calvin makes his living. He's got to pay for the access channel. He pays for his equipment, his time. I personally do this for free because I believe in the vision of what Calvin's doing here, and we want to appeal for the businesses and the viewers to make a donation so we can preserve these North Country treasures here in the North Country. All right, we have moved into the Border Press, into the front office when you come in. We have Elaine Cloutier by the computer here. And, of course, Elaine, before we do this, I want to mention many years ago you were the first lady of Rouse's Point as your husband, Paul, was the mayor, right?
Yes, he was.
And what year was that?
I think it was 83. I'm not sure.
Has it been that long? My God, the time flies by.
Yeah.
Well, I just want people to know you were the first lady at one time.
Yeah.
So we want to get into the computer here. This is borderpress.net. And actually, they're, again, a hometown company, and they're showing Fort Montgomery, or Fort Blunder, on their website.
It's Montgomery.
Well, it's also called Fort Blunder, too, isn't it?
Not this one. But the original one that they tore down was Fort Blunder.
All right. Well, I've always was told it was Fort Blunder, or I know it's Fort Montgomery, but I was always told it was also called Fort Blunder. And can you go to your product section?
The product?
Yeah.
Okay.
And as you can see, they offer many different products here, from books, as Danny talked in detail about, business cards, envelopes, brochures, invitations. We talked about that. Letterhead, memorial cards, newsletters, posters, postcards, tickets, barcode labels. Is there anything else that you guys offer that's
Yep.
not right there?
We'll go into,
Now you're going to the specialty?
yeah,
And these are the railroad note cards that Danny was talking about,
different books.
and books. Well, I'm looking right here too for the railroad note cards.
Mark
and-
Merrill book.
You guys did the Mark Merrill book?
Mhm.
That was a
Al
big hit.
Ryan book, Remembering Point Affair,
Mm-hmm.
by my father. He's doing one now, scrapbooks on World War I and II, all of them, I guess.
Okay,
Okay,
nice.
all right. So, you want to go to
And
services?
let's go to
now?
services, yeah.
Okay.
So you get typesetting and design.
Mm-hmm.
You got the letterpress.
It'll get there.
Okay. Let's hit the
That's all.
letterpress there. You got offset.
It's all the handset type and that's what Danny was talking about, numbering
Okay.
and perforating.
Okay.
Okay.
What else do you have there?
The offset.
Okay, now what do you mean by offset?
Instead of going on the digital presses, requires plate and
Okay.
ink wash ups and.
Okay, and then the
Okay.
digital color.
Mhm.
I assume this is probably pretty popular.
It is very popular.
Okay, and then you got the bindery.
Okay, I've got my nephew there.
There's nephew Duncan. It truly is a family affair here
It
at
is.
the Border Press. And then, of course,
Then
the new copies
just
at
the
half the
copy.
price
Well,
of
some
people.
Yeah, some people. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the quantity too. If you're
Sure.
just coming in for one or two, it's a little bit more, but not much.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And then you got our, if you go on here, it'll just give you the directions and
okay,
our contact page.
contact information.
Yep.
Oh, there's a
That's
lane
it.
right there on the computer
Yeah,
with
I'm waiting for
Jimmy and
Danny.
Dan.
And of course the two dogs.
Oh, you got the dogs. You got
Yeah.
Hazel and Monty there.
Yes.
So again, a true family
Yeah.
affair here at the
Mhm.
Border Press, and of course your homepage.
Yep.
So that's the website for the Border Press. It's borderpress.net. We want to key that for you. That it's not .com, it's .net. And again, a local business here in the North Country, and you'd be pleasantly surprised for all your printing needs by contacting the Border Press. And now we're with the founding father of the Border Press,
God.
Jimmy Rochester. Actually, for me, it's Uncle Jimmy Rochester.
Right.
And I got the founding father of Hometown Cable, Calvin Castine. So I got two founding fathers
That's
here. So
right.
I'm pretty blessed here, Uncle Jimmy. We wanted, obviously you started this back in 1960, but
Right.
you learned your trade, I think. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you were at the Press Republican for many
I
years.
learned my trade at the North Countryman.
At the North Countryman, okay.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
you went to the Press.
I went to the press, yeah. And I was already operating here when I went to the press.
Oh, you had started the business here.
Yeah, I
And
did.
then the Press called you.
Well, actually, we didn't have enough business to really support the family. I mean, I started it sort of on a blind side.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't working out enough to support the family, so I worked at two jobs for a few years.
For many years.
25 years.
So you were at the Press for 25 years?
Mhm.
And then you did this on the side?
I did this on the side.
Okay.
And when my son came along, he's boosted the business up quite a bit.
Yeah, Danny said he came out in the 80s. He came
Yeah,
in
mhm.
82, I think is what
Yeah.
he said. And I see that the Press Republican article there, that was big news when you retired.
Yeah, yes, it was. Bob Grady did that for me, and he likes to sensationalize it. Let's put it that way.
Well, I think it's probably well deserved here.
Yeah.
Now we're in the printing room, and you got three machines here. Can you kind of expand on each machine here?
Okay.
What does what now?
That
Right
is
here.
a Heidelberg press, and I bought that from actually Mr. McClellan from Champlain, who was operating the Mooresfield press at the time. Actually, I didn't buy it from him. After he passed away, he told his widow that he would like me to get it because he knew I was going to run it instead of getting rid of the handset operation like a lot of printers did. So we still do handset type.
So that machine is still in use today.
That's in use. Yep.
Okay, and then over here you have this machine here.
That is a two-color Heidelberg offset press, and it's we do most of our offset work on it now because it handles everything from envelopes to brochures or whatever you want put on it.
So Heidelberg is still in the business, in the printing business.
Yeah,
of banking machinery.
Heidelberg makes a lot of the larger printing equipment. I don't know how that industry is going today because I mean the whole industry is gone. A lot of it's gone to the Orient and South America, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean I did have a 4-color offset press in the back, which we had to get rid of because the market was going for shorter runs. So.
And I noticed that off the camera you're saying that you guys have definitely adjusted to the marketplace by going more keying on the shorter runs.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And right behind you we have a machine here, and so you can kind of talk about this. We were kind of joking about this too off camera. Bob Venn did a story with you guys years ago,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and Danny was showing him how it worked, and he almost put his hand.
Yeah, he was sort of doing this. I guess I don't know what he was doing.
And the machine with
the blade was coming
down.
down. The blade was coming down. Yeah, yeah. That's a challenge cutter. It's a 30-inch cutter, and it'll cut reams of 500 sheets. So, and we use this a lot. We do a lot of label work now, and we do it in multiples, and so we use this to cut it to a size.
Well, you mentioned labels. We did a show with up in Scioto,
Mm-hmm.
the Details on their store, and you make the labels for their beef jerky.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think you do some labels from local wineries here.
We do a lot of wine labels. Yes, we do.
Okay. And then they obviously contacted you.
Yes, yeah.
For
Mhm.
that? Okay.
Well, one of them did, and then they all get along good together, these wineries and the people, and they're not really competitive, so they just, it was word of mouth after that, yeah.
Well, they all belong because they'll wine taste all day long.
Oh, yeah.
They become good friends as the hours go by, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
All right, now, if we can venture into the next room, Anna, you have a couple pieces in there we want to highlight
Okay,
here.
sure.
Okay, we've moved into another room here, and I see that you have an AGFA Select Set 5000. And what
That's
does this
yeah,
machine
it's
do?
an ACFA. This is a plate maker. It makes polyester plates that we use for the offset printing.
Okay.
So this goes direct from the computer to the plate maker. In other words, we'll do a job, we'll set a job on your computer, and then we can output it on here. It'll make the plates that we're using on our offset presses.
And you've had this machine for a while?
This one has been here for a long while. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly when.
Now, Danny talked about a newer machine. I'm assuming this is the one that you got like in the last year?
Yeah. It's an upgrade from the digital copiers, and they call it a 700. It's a 700 Xerox press. The quality is improved considerably from the copy system. Well, we can also do copies on it.
Okay, and
So
that's what Danny was talking about.
That's what Danny was talking about, and I don't know if he hit we're doing a lot of prints for local artists if they want to do prints of the original art. We're sort of limited to size. We can do a 13 by 19 print. But we've done larger because we'll shoot them with a digital camera and then make the print.
So you can reprint postcards and stuff like that too?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Now, Danny was talking about the keyboard off camera, that it is kind of a little complicated for people trying to go do it themselves,
Right.
trying to figure it out. And Calvin, if you can key on that keyboard, there's a lot of buttons there.
There's a lot of functions that you have to do to get if you want to get a perfect print, a perfect copy. I'm not as familiar with it as Danny is.
So Danny runs this mostly?
Danny runs most of that, yeah. And he takes a lot of people's art in here, and he'll reproduce it within a couple of different shots.
And how is it for like turnaround time for people with orders? I know every order is different in the size and stuff.
Yeah, it depends on if we have to do the composition or if it's furnished, But it turns around very fast.
Okay.
You know, I've done some pretty long-run copy jobs for the legal profession, and we haven't gotten into that too much, but we're starting to move on that.
So you're getting to be well known in the community,
Yeah.
the bar community.
Yeah. It's, I mean, we've got a little disadvantage as to our location here, but it seems to be working out. It's,
Well, but the internet must equalize it a little bit for you.
yeah, it does.
I would think.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then I know you guys, at least for me, you've been very good about delivering stuff that we order at times.
Yeah.
You guys show up at the door. And
Most of the time, unless it gets buried in the shuffle here somewhere, which almost happened to me yesterday.
But you guys do house calls,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
See, and like you know, now back in the days, doctors used to go to the house.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
cut that out,
Yeah.
but the border press will still make house calls. And that goes back to the 1960s, back when service meant something, and you still get it here at the border press.
Well, we try.
Well, you do more than try. You guys definitely produce. There is no doubt about that.
Yes, we try. We sure try.
So 1960, we're in 2011, so 51 years
Yeah,
doing this,
yeah.
and here you are today, and it seems like you still have the passion for it that you did back then.
Oh yeah, I've got a lot of my own projects that I'd like to work on in here. You know.
So you have 51 years. Danny came in what, 82, I think he said.
Mhm.
So that would have been 29 years. So we have 80 years of printing experience here at the Border Press. And if you want something done and you want it done right, I can guarantee you, and I will affectionately call him Uncle Jimmy, and Danny will do the job for you. Again, we're here highlighting small businesses in the North Country. We want people to realize that, and maybe some people may realize that you aren't here. That you've been here for this long and,
Oh,
and never even realized you were here.
I know that happens all the time.
And you know, but it's shows like this we're trying to get the exposure out there because we want to. You know, there's a big push about keeping business local, and
Right.
that's one of the highlights of what we're trying to do here. And like I had said earlier, this here is definitely a North Country treasure, the Border Press, and we've captured it on film. And is there anything else you want to add to this segment, Uncle Jimmy?
At this time, no, I think you covered everything pretty well.
Well, I just asked the questions. You answered them very, very well. I'm Joey Trombley. On the camera is Calvin Castine. This is Jimmy Rochester of the Border Press. And until next time, we'll be back with another edition of Talkin' Business.